In this video, I'm going to show you how you can live off of credit cards for free. Now, if you need to speed up the video, you can use the settings in the control and you can double up the speeds. I do talk a little slow so you can really get the concept of the video. Here's a scenario of someone named David. His income is $2,000. His income is $2,000. Now, I start the numbers relatively low to make it a little bit relatable, but you can adjust it according to your expenses. So, his rent was $700 and his expenses was around about $800. So, in an unfortunate turn of events, he loses his job and his roommate moves out. So now he has zero income and he doesn't have the help of his roommate, and he's in a situation where, people cannot typically afford to take care of a grown person, so he has no one to pay his bills. Right now, he's looking for a job, but none is hiring at the moment. And so now rent is due. So we're going to just use January. So rent is due in January and he has no job and no help. What is David going to do? Well, I would suggest that David gets a line of credit for about $15K. Hopefully, he would have set this up while he was working. So I would suggest you get lines of credit and maybe some credit cards before this situation happens, just to have it on hand, due to an emergency situation. Now, they say it's good to have emergency funds. It's good to have about 6 months worth of expenses saved up. David doesn't have that, okay? A lot of people don't even have $1,000 in an emergency fund, let alone 6 months worth of expenses. But let's get to it. So David already has some credit cards. He didn't use them, but now he needs to use them. He ends up getting a new credit card that has a 0% interest for 12 months, so he doesn't have to pay interest on his purchases. Also, if he spends $2,000 within 6 months, he'll get a $200 bonus. So if theoretically he spent, now he has to pay $1,500 a month, and he had to make a couple of adjustments to his lifestyle because he has no income. Maybe he, canceled his cable, bill or whatever. He doesn't have cable. And so now he has zero cash flow. So no more cash flow. So he had to make some adjustments. And so now January hits, he has to pay January hits, he now has to pay $2,000. So he's going to use his 0% interest credit card with, let's be conservative, with 1.5% cash back. So he pays his $2,000 rent, bills, and expenses, water bill. You do need at least Wi-Fi nowadays, or you could probably just use your phone. But he has to pay certain things, electric bills, transportation, whatever the case may be. So he pays that with his credit card. Now he will be making, at 1.5% cash back, about $30 more than likely he won't get that $30 in the first month, but I'm going to still just put it here just to kind of illustrate a point. So he's making $30 with his cash back per month. Now, you might have to use something called Plastique to be able to pay your rent. Okay, so you might have to use other means of paying your rent. There are credit unions that will give you the ability to turn, that will allow you to take a cash advance. And I know people are against cash advances, but sometimes you got to do what you have to do, and you can transfer that immediately into your checking account. Okay, so that way you can pay your bills, your rent with your debit card. But that's neither here nor there. There are other ways where you don't have to take out a cash advance. You can use a prepaid card with at least Navy Federal. I don't know if other credit unions have that feature, but you can somehow transfer your credit card onto that card without being charged a cash advance. But I don't want to spend too much time on that because I don't want this video to run long. I'm trying to get to the point. So he spends $2,000 on his rent. So he has a balance of $2,000 that he has to pay on that credit card. Okay. So due to limited space, I can't really break everything down, but he technically will not have to pay that $2,000 off in March due to the float period, but I'm not going to even go through that. So let's just say February comes around, he uses his line of credit to pay off the $2,000. So with his line of credit, he's going to have approximately $13,000 left. Now, lines of credit can be other credit cards. You might have to put 2 or 3 of them together, or however much it would take to make this $15,000 in available credit. Now, what about credit utilization? This is an emergency. So right now we can't think about credit utilization and all that other good stuff. All right. So, but he is making 30,000. He is making $30 in cash back a month. And so let's say he continues this. Like I said, every month he's paying it off with his either other credit cards or lines of credit. All right. So every month his credit card is being replenished back to $3,000 because he's paying it off with his line of credit. Okay. So if he does this for, let's just say, every month he gets his $30. $30. Okay. So this can probably help him pay. Well, no, I would say pay the minimum balance. He could just pocket this money. He doesn't really have any money. So $30, I don't know. He can spend it however he wishes or whatever the case may be. So he will have $30. Now, I know there are 5% cashback cards. So, that will be even better. I think if it's 5% cashback, he'd get about, how much would that be? You do the math. You do the math. I'll probably put it in, in text on the screen. But if he's doing a 5% cash back, he would make even more. So if he does this for about 6 months, and these numbers right here, these represent unexpected emergencies also. So that's why I would suggest your credit lines be a little bit higher than your expenses. I would say at least about 1,000 or two if possible. I'm trying to be conservative on how much David is making and the possibilities that might arise. So he will be able to cover his emergencies if he has, the $3,000 or $4,000 credit limit. So, anyways, at the end of the day, he would have made money. And let's just say in July, he finds a job. Now, will he have to pay these things off? The line of credit, because he probably would have exhausted his line of credit. But on top of that, let's not forget that he would have made also on top of the cash back. Now the cash back he can spend on, like if he's using like a service like Plastique or something where, he needed to turn his credit into cash. He can also use that for that. But also he will also gain $200 because he has met this bonus requirement of spending $2,000 in 6 months. So not only was he able to live for free, he also made $30 a month, and he also made an extra $200 bonus. So again, in July, he finds a job, and this is actually being very, very generous. Hopefully, David would have been able to find a job either in February or March, but let's just say for whatever reason it took him longer. Unexpected things happen, and next thing you know, he had to wait. He didn't get a job until until June or July. And so again, like I said, that's how you can live off of credit for free. And give me a thumbs up. Let me know if this concept work. Of course, if your expenses and income is higher, you can kind of mess around with the numbers to fit your needs. Give it a thumbs up. Let me know if it's a better way to do this. If you have absolutely no support and absolutely no money at the time, and living with people isn't really an option, because come on, everybody is struggling. I don't know if they would want David to live with them with no money and no means of but some people do have that type of support, but David doesn't. So anyways, I'm rambling a little bit, and let me know what you think. Yes, please thumbs this video up and leave some feedback so I'll know if you like videos like this. Other than that, I won't post if I feel like, people aren't interested in learning. So yes, that would be helpful. So have a good day and see you soon.